Howdy, friends. I'm going to give everybody, I need to turn my lamp on, just a couple minutes to hop on here. Happy Sunday. As usual, I have my computer going and my phone going, so if you're tuning in, say hello. Let me know that you're here. Hoping I'm in the private group. I always wonder when I go live, like, where am I? Am I in the right place? Okay. So I did a poll yesterday to see what you guys wanted to talk about first, emotions or sleep, just because I've been working on both of them. If you have been on my team for a couple years, I did do a video, I don't know, probably a year or two ago, that is a lot more science-y than this one's going to be. So if you're into science and how your brain works and your cellular grooves and your cellular memory, go up to the search bar in our private group, not right now when this video is over, and type in emotions, and you'll put there's a whole video. I went through the whole starter kit and talked about what emotions can be cleared with those oils, and just talked a lot about your brain and different books and resources. Today, I want to keep things really, really simple. And so when I originally started using oils, I was like beyond skeptic. Beyond. And that was for using oils for your, like, a physical sense in your body. When it came to emotions, I just flat out did not believe it. Like, hippy dippy oils that was like my nickname for them until I started using them for emotions. And I think that with oils, we tend to complicate things sometimes, and we make it way bigger of a deal than it has to be to use the oils and use them effectively. So I'm going to give everybody just a minute or two. I kind of broke this up into two parts. I'm going to first talk about a few of my very favorite oils that you get in the starter kit, and how I use those for emotional support. And then I grabbed like 5 or 6 oils to talk about for emotions. And then as the day was going on, I found myself using different oils or thinking of a different oil. And so my little stash that we're going to talk about today, it grew quite a bit. So I have a lot of oils to talk about, but the biggest thing that I want you guys to just keep in your head is that when I'm talking about using these oils, this is how simple it is, okay? I'm going to show you. So Valor, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. One of my favorite oils. It's in the starter kit now. You just put a couple drops in your hand. I have this tickle in my throat. That's why I'm sipping on tea today. So you put a couple drops of oil in your hand, rub them together, and just take 10 really deep breaths. And that is going to help your emotional support. But here's how this works, okay? So I don't think this is a fix-all. I don't think, I think there are certain cases and certain situations where more is needed. But these are a tool. And so if you are willing to do the work, you have a tool to help you get to the emotional state that you want to be. So when I'm teaching about oils, one of the best ways that I try to break it down to people is use them like food. So we know that broccoli is good for us. We know that it has benefits for our body, and we eat it. And we know that we have to eat it consistently in order for those benefits to keep benefiting us. So think of your oils like food. You have to use them. You've got to put them on your body. You've got to be breathing them in, or they're not going to work. They're not going to work sitting on a shelf somewhere. So you have to use them. Treat them like food. If you're eating healthy foods, it's nourishing your body. If you're using your oils, it's helping you in an emotional sense. So it's very simple. 10 deep breaths of the oils. We're going to talk about all different kinds of oils and different emotions, but that's how simple it is. And so in order to, hi Belle, I love you. I can't wait to see you. In order for the oils to work in reprogramming your brain and rewiring your thoughts and helping you get back to a healthy state, you need to use the oils with intention. So let's just start talking about some of the oils in the starter kit. So Stress Away. Stress Away is one that I use all the time. And the way that I would use it is first of all, I totally drench myself in Stress Away. But if I'm really, really needing it, I put a couple drops in my hand, take some slow, deep breaths, and then you need to think of things that are positive, things that you're grateful for. Sometimes I'm literally my kids are driving me crazy, but I am so blessed to have them. I don't know what I would do without them. And you just train your mind to just go the other way, to think a happy thought. And just taking that minute to use your oils and breathe them in, slow, deep breaths while you're thinking positive thoughts in your head. It's kind of like just a little reset, and you can start fresh and go back to what you were doing. So Stress Away is one that comes in the starter kit. I love this one. I could bathe in it. It's got a little bit of a vanilla scent. So Stress Away. Valor, I just used that one. This one is amazing for balancing, for courage. I use this several times a day. I always use it before I go live. I always use it before I teach a class. But this is an amazing oil to grab for just so many different reasons. It's physically balancing, it's spiritually balancing, it's mentally balancing, it's emotionally balancing. So just using this oil is going to kind of just align everything and get you feeling confident and secure and brave. This is a brave oil in our house. So if we have those moments where we need to feel really brave, we definitely would go to Valor. So that's in the starter kit too. Peace and Calming. So, peace and calming, the best way that I can describe peace and calming now is freedom. I smell that, and it's such a freeing feeling for me. And the reason is that 5, maybe 6 years ago now, when I started using oils, I was just in such a bad place. I was physically, emotionally, mentally. I'm actually doing a whole video on that hopefully later today if my life cooperates. But I was just in a really, really bad place, and I had such bad anxiety. I was in these stoops of depression, and I just could not pull myself out of it. And so Peace and Calming was one of the oils that I would use when I started feeling anxious. I would use it on my kids at night to help them go to sleep. But it's one of those smells now to me, this was my way out. This was my way out of the pharmaceutical medications I was taking. This was my way out of just being stuck in that place of anxiousness, because we weren't made to stay in a place of anxiousness. We just weren't. We need to be brave. We need to be courageous. And we need to feel calm, and we need to feel collected. And so I know it's such a weird word to correspond with peace and calming, but to me, it's freedom. And I think it's just because my brain just links it back to that time where this was my tool. This is what I used to change my whole life. And it worked. And it still works. So Peace and Calming comes in the starter kit now. Amazing. You can put it in the diffuser. Put it in your hands and just breathe it in and just be thankful and think of peace and happiness and calm. And even if you only get a tiny minute out of your day of peace and calm, savor that. Be grateful for that, because sometimes and some days we just don't get that. And I think a lot of times we have a way of making things seem a lot worse, when really, if we look at the big picture and we look at what's actually going on, we don't really have it that bad. And I think that we let those thoughts just build up in our head. So peace and calming is very, very, very good to just calm you. Another one that comes in the starter kit is frankincense. Frankincense is such a grounding spiritual oil. It's amazing. We also have the same exact oil in our Vitality line. And so for those of you who aren't sure what the Vitality line is, it's a specific set of oils that have been labeled specifically for internal use. And so it's the same exact oil. It's just labeled differently. And so if I am feeling like really super crazy or really stressed out, or I'm just really hitting like this moment where I can't get past it, I'll put a couple drops of frankincense under my tongue and just let it calm me down. There's also been moments I've dumped it all over my head and literally just like drenched myself in it. But it's very, very calming. Frankincense is mentioned in the Bible. There's endless studies on it, and it is just an all-around favorite oil. And this comes in the starter kit too. So I really like to let you guys know that this is, when it comes to emotions, this is a huge, huge oil. I also use it for my skin. I use it for other things, but under my tongue, like, frank it out. That's one of the things I like to say. Just if you're stressed out, just frankincense. Okay. So those are the oils that I wanted to touch on that come in the starter kit that I think are amazing for emotional support. Having them going in the diffuser, breathing them in, and then just really taking a minute to just collect your thoughts and reset. They're a tool. They're not a fix-all. So when you pop a pill, you're waiting for that happy feeling to kick in. With the oils, you actually have to intentionally help to set your mind that it's a tool. It's just like food. So for those of you just tuning in, I like to say that essential oils are like food. You need to use them. I take them internally, but they can't just sit on your shelf, because if your apples sit in a basket on your counter, that you're not getting the benefits from them either. So think of it like food. These are plants. They were put on this planet to work intricately with our body. We are not in a place society-wise where we are out in the woods and out in the trees and eating food that we've grown in the ground like we used to. Instead, a lot of us are like soaked in chemicals from our laundry soap and breathing in air fresheners and toxic chemical cleaners and things like that. That stuff wasn't made to work in our body, and our body doesn't know what to do with all of that buildup. So these plants and these molecules in the oils, they were designed to work just the way our bodies work. So pretty amazing stuff. Okay, release. So release is one of my favorite oils for emotions, and it's one of my least favorites. And I'm going to explain that. So if you are in a place where you need to just let stuff go, it could be sadness, it could be trauma, it could be heartache, it could be relationships, it could be work-wise. There's so many things that sometimes we just really need to like let it go, because if we hold on to it, it's only affecting us and it's only hurting us. It's like us drinking the poison and it's not affecting anybody else, but it sure is hurting us. So if you need to release things, this is an amazing oil for it. Definitely one of my favorites. However, if you need to release frustration or anger or sadness, it can be difficult sometimes. And I mean that because energy, emotions, we store those in our body, and they either have to be stored, we hold on to them, or they have to be released. And so, sometimes when I'm going through, when I was going through a lot of sadness, there was a lot of trauma, there was a lot of stuff that happened that I really had to work through. And I'm sure, this was a couple years ago, and some of you guys saw my post and literally like rode the wave with me. And I thank you for that still to this day. But release was really hard for me because sometimes I would put it in my diffuser at night and I'd put it over my liver and I'd breathe it in before I'd go to bed, and I'd wake up and I'd just feel lighter and I'd feel happier. And then sometimes I would wake up and I would just be in like this puddle of tears, just sad. And the reason is that I had to get that out. And crying is not a bad thing. Sadness isn't a bad thing. I think I've learned a lot from my sadness. But releasing things and letting them go can be hard sometimes. So I always have what I call a hot mess buddy the next day. So if I'm using release, I let somebody know, usually Annie, sorry Annie, but I usually let them know, hey, I'm using release tonight. I've got a lot of stuff going on and I don't know how I'm going to be in the morning. And then you've just got a friend to check on you and say, hey, how's it going? And you're either bawling and you're letting it out, or it's been released in your sleep, in your subconscious, through your cellular memory, and you're feeling lighter and you're feeling better. So just because they don't always make you feel really great, sometimes they can make you feel things that you just don't want to feel, but it's important to feel it and move on from it. Okay, so let it be there. Let those emotions be there. I don't run from my emotions anymore. If I'm mad, I'm mad, but I deal with it different. And so I want you guys to just start using your oils to deal. And that's what they're here for. So release is amazing. Joy. Joy is a very happy, it kind of gets me out if I'm stuck in like this grumpy rut. I really love to use joy. Over your heart, I like it in the diffuser with citrus oils. So if you're really struggling with joy and being able to feel joy and being able to give joy and spread joy, this would be a good oil to hang on to every single day and just start using it throughout the day and letting it do its job and help you to do your job. So again, it's a tool. It's not a fix-all. I'm not saying you go get joy and you're just going to put it on and be dancing and spreading around flowers and joy. I hope you are. And I think it can help you get to that point. But this is one that to this day, I still use if I'm feeling, frustrated or negative, or I just can't get to that. I can't get past something and I want to just be happy and feel happy. Joy is a really good one. This is also a good one I use on my kids. So sometimes they just wake up and they have grumpy pants on, and I can't always fix that in time to send them out to school. So I put a lot of joy on them and pour them a lot of love over them and just hope for the best. So joy is a really good one. Harmony. Harmony is an amazing oil. It supports a lot of different emotions. But you probably have heard me say, I put this in the diffuser when my kids are kind of like bickering at each other, because it helps to promote feelings of harmony. And it does, and it works. But this is a really good oil to use. I like to use it with Valor, but you can use it on all your chakras. It helps to open your chakras up. And it just helps you get to a place of feeling harmony. Transformation. So this oil, it's a little bit on the spendy side, I think. This bottle's lasted me like a year. So I think it is one of the more expensive oils. But transformation, I can truly say, got me over quite a tough little hill that I was climbing at a certain time. So transformation was one where, okay, so here's the story. My first like transformation moment. It was a couple years ago. I was going through my house, separating a lot of things. I was going through a really, really, really tough time. I had a lot on my shoulders. I had a lot going on in my heart. It was just like a really, really tough time. And I had left. I went on a fishing trip. Those of you who know me, you know I love fishing. But I left for a few days, went fishing, came back, and I was just feeling really like ready. Like, okay, I need to just do this. I need to get it done. And so I turned on some music. My kids were gone. I filled the diffusers up with Transformation and Citrus Fresh. And I busted out. Because I know like going through my house doesn't sound like a big deal. But it was a big deal because it was, once I was done with that, I was taking a step in a new direction. It was a new beginning. It was starting over. I was transforming from my old life to a new life that I was about to walk that I had no idea what to expect. And so I had this in my diffuser and I did all the things and I was happy and I felt just like this sense of freedom. So transformation is one that I pull out. Another kind of good one if you're stuck. So if you're not sure what to do next, maybe, I know a lot of people get like, a lot of people meaning me, but get a lot of ideas in their head and they just can't take the next step or they don't know exactly where to go with it. So transformation is a really, really good one for that. Okay, this is a single oil. It is not a blend, but I have to talk to you guys about it when I talk about emotions because it is so amazing in clearing negative grooves in your cellular memory. So our minds, like I said, there's an emotions video in this group. Go up to the search bar, type in emotions, and you can pull it up and it's much more science-y and gets into your brain and how your thoughts and your emotions all tie together and work. I'm trying to keep this one simple and not science-y. So, but go check that one out. When you have trauma or you have a negative thought or a negative emotion, it digs this groove into your cellular brain. And in order for us to get past that or to get to a better state of mental health or a better state emotionally, we have to clear that. We've got to get rid of it. And so cedarwood, I found this gem 5 years ago, I think. I have to tell you guys, I stayed away from it because I did not like the smell of it. I seriously now, well, I do. I actually bathe in it. I put it in my Epsom salts for bath time, but I love the smell of it now. So here's the deal with cedarwood. Cedarwood is very high in sesquiterpenes, and I'm not going to get sciencey. I'm not doing it. Okay. So by putting cedarwood on your brainstem, this little dent in the back of your head, you can put cedarwood right there and on your big toes, which connects to your brainstem. Before you go to bed, I also like to do it in the diffuser. It's really amazing with lavender, citrus fresh, cedarwood, lavender, tangerine. I love to have it in the diffuser at night. But it helps to go in and clear your cellular memory. So I think there's a lot of you in this group that I'm aware of, maybe some that I'm even not aware of. But when you start to do that process, when you start using cedarwood every night to clear your cellular memory and to get that negative stuff out of there, you may have, I had some very intense dreams. Very intense, very real. There was a couple nights I didn't put it on just because I was like, that was a lot last night. But it's releasing it and it's in your subconscious and it's getting it out. And so I like to think of it as something that goes in while I'm asleep, like a janitor. When you're asleep, it kind of just goes in and cleans stuff up. And so sometimes your dreams are a little bit crazy because the janitor opens some doors that are like insane, but it's getting cleaned out and it's really, really important. So not a blend. It's a single oil. This bad boy is like $11 for the big bottle. and it will last you forever, and it does amazing, amazing things in your brain. So, okay, like I said, I grabbed like handfuls of oils today. So Envision, those of you who are coming over on Tuesday will be smelling Envision, because we are going to be passing these bottles around like crazy. Envision is very good for moving forward. So it helps you to really just hone in on what you want your plan to be, what your vision is, where you want to go, where you want to be. So this is one that I use when I'm setting my goals, when I'm working on new projects or new ideas, because it helps to just keep me in that zone and keeps me focused on that. So Envision is amazing for moving forward and for the bigger picture and seeing the bigger things. So get your hands on that if you are needing some of that. I am trying. So the cough drops were out of stock, and I had to order the whole like wellness kit to get them. Get your cough drops. You have to get the wellness kit, I think, right now to get them. But you need them. And they go out of stock every single year. Okay, build your dream. This one I was going to save, not for the emotions video, but I'm doing a whole video on oils and work and oils and Boss Babe oils type of video. And so I was going to save that, but we're just going to talk about it twice, because this oil is called Build Your Dream. And I think that we all have this way of where we are right now. We can't get out of it. And this helps. This is one of my unstuck oils. So building your dream, this isn't, you don't just put this oil on and then your dream's built and it's there. But if you're truly working on building your dream and taking your next steps into reaching your goals, or starting a new business, or moving out of state, or whatever you're doing, and you need to be able to dream big and reach those dreams, Build Your Dream is an amazing tool to have in your toolbox to use when you need it. Okay, Sarah. So Sarah was formulated. Oh, I love this one. I really love it. I wear this as a perfume sometimes. But this was originally formulated for victims of sexual trauma. So this was designed for emotions, for big trauma, for big things. And so it might not be like you might not be a sexual victim, but you might be dealing with some big things and some big emotions. And I can tell you that a couple years ago, I was dealing with some big emotions, and I had the choice to let them just wreak havoc and take over and do their thing and let the devil's voice be really loud and just not go anywhere. But I wanted to work through it. And so Sarah is one that I used and still to this day use when I just need that emotional balance. So this is in a lot of my like calming blends, my like anxious blends, because sometimes when our brains dig that cellular groove, you'll find triggers in your life that will put you right back to a certain spot or a certain feeling. And it takes a lot, but you really need to step back and just really take account of your emotional state, I guess, is the way that I want to go with that. I'm trying to stay compliant here. But if you have had any big traumas, I forgot to turn my phone off. If you've had any big traumas, if you've gone through anything really heavy and you're just trying to move past that, this is an oil. I rub it over my heart, behind my ears, on my ears, not in your ears. Don't put oils in your ears. My wrists. If I have a diffuser necklace on, I'll wear it. Because it's just amazing for emotional support. So sometimes I just find myself going back a little bit, or my emotions will go back a little bit to a place that maybe life wasn't so kind to me and it's changing my perception on something, and I just really keep digging that out. And I can't say that I'm 100% better and I'm good to go, because I still have moments where old things come back, but I know how to support them now, and I know how to not run from them and really face them head on. So Sarah is very, very amazing for emotional support. Surrender. A lot of you guys have heard me talk about surrender when it comes to my kids' bedtime routine. Surrender is amazing for a bedtime routine when it comes to your kids and getting them to surrender to bedtime. But it's also very good for those big emotions that sometimes we just need to surrender to. So I know a couple years ago, I would be praying these big prayers, and I'd want these big things, and I'd want my heart to just feel better. But until I actually was able to surrender to the fact that some things are out of my control, some things I can fix, some things I'm totally wrong about, and I need to just surrender and say, you know what, you're right, and just keep moving forward. So this was one that I didn't like the smell of, but I needed it desperately, and now it doesn't bother me as much. So those oils that you don't like the smell of right away, use them, and see if it changes. White Angelica. How many of you have people in your life that are just hard to deal with? It could be a family member, it could be a coworker, it could be somebody at your kid's school. But you know that feeling like, ugh, I've got to deal with this person, and it's hard. And maybe, they come across really rough, or there's just some people that are just hard to deal with. And so White Angelica it protects your aura. It protects you from stuff and other things and other people's stuff. So if you are a very empathetic person, it is very, very important that you protect the way that you feel from the way that everyone else feels. Because if you're anything like me, you walk into a room and you're like a sponge, just soaking up whatever energy is there. And if it's bad, you feel it. And it's not always yours to take on. So White Angelica, top of my head, over my shoulders and down my arms like angel wings. And I literally, like, over my clothes, everything. I just put that shield over me, because your stuff's your stuff, their stuff's their stuff. It's all different. But protecting you and your space, especially from difficult people or difficult situations, is really important. This is also one that I use even like if I have to go into the grocery store or somewhere where I know there's going to be a lot of people, because energy's energy, friends. It doesn't just like stick to one person. It has this way of mingling around and sharing, and I don't always want what everybody else has. So to protect the emotional state that you're using these oils for and you're working so hard to maintain, put your shield on. So White Angelica, this was also a game changer when it came to my son's night terrors. He used to have the worst night terrors, and White Angelica helped in the diffuser around the back of his head before he went to sleep. Just a really, really good tool to have in your arsenal. Okay, Awaken. If I could pick, say you came to me and you said, I have the starter kit oils, I'm ready to step out, what would be the next oil that you would suggest for emotional support? And I would tell you to get your hands on Awaken. This is a blend of blends. So it's got all different kinds of emotional support blends already in it. And this is one, I know it's called Awaken, but this is one that I like to diffuse at nighttime because it helps to kind of start your next day good. This is a very, very good one. I think I grabbed my empty bottle. This is a good one to just put a couple drops in your hand and just sit in the morning when you wake up, before you grab your phone, before you grab your coffee, just take some deep breaths and set your intention for the day. So whatever you want your day to look like, whatever way you want to show up for your day, take some deep breaths with that oil and just really let your mind go there. I am going to spread kindness today. I am not going to let little things bother me today. I'm going to be open to change and to other people's ideas and different things like that. Whatever you want, setting the tone for your day first thing in the morning all by itself is a game changer. You add in these tools and it's even better. So Awaken is a blend of blends. If you are only going to get one oil on your next order that you haven't tried, try Awaken and let me know how you feel. Humility. Okay. I have to use humility a lot because it kind of goes back to the whole white Angelica thing, where somebody else's stuff is theirs and then I have my stuff. But this is like the next step. So white Angelica helps to like protect my space. Humility really helps me to see where somebody else is coming from, to kind of just take that next step and realize, hey, we're all human. We're all human and we need to help each other. There's no competition. There's not going to be anybody crossing some crazy imaginary finish line that we all think is going to be somewhere and we're going to miss out on. We all have our stuff and we all have different lives and different things. And I think that finding a way to understand and respect each other in the places that we're in. So, I'm in a place right now and I would hope that the people around me love and respect that. And I want to be that person for the people that I love and I care about. I want to respect the place that they're at. And so humility really helps me just kind of, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about them and how they feel and how can I help them and what do they need. Humility is really good. So if you're really stuck on just me, this is all about me, get some humility in your life, please, for the sake of all of us. Hope. This one's actually free this month. Want to say if you spend $300, I don't know. I could be very wrong. Somebody correct me. But Hope, I tell people this all the time. Like, here's a bottle of Hope. Good luck to you. Pat on the back, send them on your way. No, that's not how this works. But I think that I'm definitely not speaking for myself when I say we all can just get in that place where we kind of lose hope. And it can be with a certain project. It can be with relationships, with work, with whatever it may be. Sometimes we are just less hopeful. It could be about life. Maybe you just have no hope left. And first of all, if you're in that place, please reach out because people love you. And there are people like me that will anoint you with oils and love on you if you need it, because that's what we're here for. And that's what we're supposed to be doing for each other. So hope is a good one if you're just not in a place where you can feel hopeful. It's a tool that you can use to help get your frequency, get your mind to a place where you can feel hope, because it's very important. I've been there. I know that feeling. Every now and then I still get in that place. And so just putting a couple drops of hope in my hand and 10 deep breaths, slow everything down and just kind of reset everything. And like I said, we're going to get to an oil that is going to wrap all this together in just a minute, but just really think of those positive thoughts and those happy thoughts and the things that you do have, not the things that you don't have, and the things that you want to do and you're setting goals for, not the things that you didn't do or you missed out on, because it's easy to get stuck in that headspace. Okay, so hope. Inner child. We all were kids once. We all had those carefree moments. We all had these big dreams and these big plans, and we saw our life. A lot of it was in like this fairy tale way. But that childlike imagination and excitement is still there. It's still there, and it wants to come out. And so inner child is one. I love to use this one when I'm spending a day with my kids, because it helps to just bring that inner child out. Some of us did not have very happy childhoods, and that inner child was hurt, and that inner child has things that, it's still there. Stuff doesn't go away until you either release it or work through it. So using inner child with, where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh, using inner child with release is a very good combo. So if you had a tough childhood and you have things in your past that you need to get through, inner child and release together is very good. You know what oil I did not bring out, which I'm super surprised about, but I'm kind of glad because I think it really deserves its own video, but it's Trauma Life. So I'm not talking about Trauma Life today accidentally, but we will be talking about that because that's another oil that's just like release for me. A love and a, I don't know if I like you so much oil. Okay, so inner child, just get back to that carefree spirit. Work on the things that happened in your childhood that are still affecting you if it wasn't a very good childhood. Okay, acceptance. Game changer. Game changer. So acceptance is one that I want to put in a squirt bottle and just spray the whole world with. Honestly, when I stop and think about it. But sometimes, a lot of times, we have to just accept things. We've got to just say, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is, and that's what it's going to be. And am I going to let it affect me? Am I going to let it throw me off track? Or am I just going to accept it? So acceptance, this was this was in my top 5 for moving past some really tough things, was acceptance, because there was a lot of things at that time that were just out of my control, like a lot of things, a lot. And I had to sit back quite a few times and just, this really sucks, but I've got to accept it because that's what it is. And then once you have accepted something, then you get to take your next step into, okay, here's what I'm going to do now. Here's how I'm going to fix this. Here's the changes I'm going to make. Here's how I'm going to do this differently. But until you accept something, and some things are very hard to accept, very hard. But until you can accept something and be at peace with the fact that it's just the way it is, it's hard to move forward. So acceptance is very, very, very good. Gratitude. Here's the one that I said is just going to wrap all of these up together into one amazing bundle, because gratitude is everything. It's everything. So, we all have something to be grateful for. Whether it's someone, whether it's something, whether it's as little as clothes on our back, we all can find something to be grateful for if we choose to look. And so, having an oil that can help you feel grateful and to help you really get your mind on that track of, hey, I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful for this. I'm super grateful for that. I'm super grateful for this. If you can sit down and you can make a list of 5 or 10 things you're grateful for, if you're having a moment of like anxiousness or fear or hopelessness, if you can sit down and you can start writing down things that you're grateful for, it is rewiring your brain. One of the best ways you can do it. Every time your head goes to a certain place, you bring it back and you say, nope, sorry, not today. You're not going to drag me down that road of self-pity and, guilt and whatever it may be. I'm going to sit here with my oil of gratitude blowing in my diffuser or cupped in my hands, and I'm going to start writing down things that I'm grateful for. And when you get done doing that, I bet you're not going to feel as anxious. And I bet you're going to feel a little bit more positive. And I bet you're going to see that you have a lot of stuff to be grateful for, because I think that once we start really writing it down, the list can go on and on and on. And Again, it's all in how you look at it. You can sit here and be like, you know what, Ashley? Everything's crap, and that's not true. I guarantee you, if you look hard enough, there is something to be grateful for. And if you want more things to be grateful for, then start taking little baby steps to have more things that you're grateful for, to have more people to love, to have more people to share your life with, to have a better roof over your head or a cozier blanket, whatever it may be. We have things to be grateful for, and really focusing in on those is a game changer when it comes to anxiety and depression. We can sit in that, I don't have this, I don't have that, I wish it went this way, I wish it went that way, for a long time if we let ourselves. Forgiveness. I have a forgiveness story. And, okay, so forgiveness. Annie, our dear sweet Annie, ordered forgiveness. I don't know. Geez, it's probably been like 4 or 5 years now, maybe. And I was in a place where I really needed to forgive someone, because forgiveness is magic. It is freedom. It is, you know what? I forgive you. I'm not carrying that with me anymore, you know? So forgiveness is a big thing. But when she first got this oil and I didn't have it yet, I was in a place where I needed to forgive, but I wasn't doing it. And let me make this very clear to you. You can forgive somebody and never speak to them again. You can forgive somebody and it still not be okay what happened, and you remove that person from your life because they're toxic. Let me just put it that way, nicely. But forgiveness is huge for you. It is a big, important step for you, because you will carry things with you that are not yours to carry if you don't forgive. And so I was in this place where I needed to do it, but I wasn't ready. I can't say I wasn't ready, but I had not faced the music. I had not sat down with myself and said, all right, it's time to forgive. You're going to carry this or you're going to let it go. So we are at a vendor event at the fairgrounds here in town. And Annie will remember this day too. We're at a vendor event. There's people everywhere. She's got this booth going, and I'm sitting there and I'm walking around and I'm smelling all these new oils she just got. And I whipped out forgiveness and I was like, ooh, this is nice. And I'm walking around smelling it. And it was maybe 5 minutes, maybe 4, maybe 10. I don't know. But I handed her the oil and I looked at her and my eyes were just filling up with tears. They were coming and I could not stop them. And I looked at her and I was like, I'll be back. I've got to go. And I darted out of that expo, got into my car. I'll never forget it. It was pouring down rain and I sat in my car and I was sobbing. I'm talking ugly crying to the fullest, bawling my eyes out. So I sat there. And I had peace and calming, and I had joy. I had my little satchel of emotional oils. And so I started just slathering myself and stuff. And it still hadn't hit me yet. And I was in the middle of this just cry fest in my car. And I felt like a complete crazy person. And it dawned on me that I was walking around for a good few minutes just huffing on forgiveness. And I was still carrying so much anger and so much hurt and so much frustration for something that someone else did. And it was time to let it go. It was time to just let it go. And so I had those 10, 15 minutes in my car because I couldn't drive anywhere. I couldn't see. I was literally hysterical. And Annie was in at the expo all by herself, wondering what in the world just happened. And I just sat there and I let it out. And once I was done, it was that weight was just lifted. This is not my crap, man. This is not mine. And it's messing with me. So, forgiveness is a big deal. If you really, truly need to work on forgiving somebody and you get this oil, I suggest using it at home, not in, Not at a vendor event with hundreds of people because it was kind of crazy. Yes, Annie, you know the story. She knows it. There she is. That was a crazy day. But I'm super thankful because that problem, that issue, that person does not affect me anymore. None of that affects my life today at all because I chose to leave it there. I did not want to carry it anymore. So forgiveness is big, and forgiveness is not for other people. I want you to remember that. It's for you. Forgiveness is for you. It's your freedom to say, hey, that was really sucky, and it's not my problem. It's not my problem. Okay. Last, but certainly not least, is grounding. I think we all have a way of just getting caught up in the hustle and bustle, and, you know, we're running around like psycho people a lot of the times, and we just need to chill and get grounded. And I know, for me especially, my brain, Annie, if you're still on here, you can absolutely attest to this. My brain is insane, people. I will have like 50 things going at one time. And for me to sit and focus on one thing is almost impossible without oils. I mean, it definitely would be torture. But I have to use my oils to focus, to be present, to be where I'm at right now. And speaking of, I didn't get present time down either. So trauma life, present time, we've got more oils to go over. We're not going to do it today. But grounding is important. So putting this on the bottom of your feet, putting your socks on in the morning, just starting your day, cupping your hands, taking 10 deep breaths. Maybe this is the oil that you choose to just start your day with, and start it in a place where your feet are planted and you're focused. Clarity is another good one to match with grounding. Those are two of my favorites if I have to write or work on a specific project. They kind of keep me in one spot. And yes, I am crazy. That is it, Annie. Cray for sure. Okay, so all of these oils are amazing for emotional support. They are not all of the oils that you can use. There are hundreds more, and I don't have time to go over them today. But I challenge you to pick an oil. If you have your starter kit, Valor would be a great one. Peace and Calming. Pick an oil that matches the emotion that you need to work towards and carry it with you all day long. When you wake up in the morning, use it. Use it throughout your day. Put it in your hands and breathe it in. Wear it on you. And do that for a couple days and let me know how you feel. Because I love to hear these stories of, hey, it worked. I didn't think it was going to work, and it worked. Those are my favorite. So I, too, am doing this exact thing because I am trying to be much more consistent and intentional in my oil use. And so I'm going to just pick a different oil each day, whatever's going on in this crazy world that I live in. I'm just going to pick an oil and I'm going to carry it with me all day, and I'm going to use it throughout the day. And if I'm feeling a specific emotion that I know I need to work on, I'm carrying it with me all day. And I'm just going to keep swimming. So, like I said, these are not fix-alls. You're not going to put a drop of oil on you and, you know, this beautiful background music starts playing and the lights dim and your world's just calm and happy and good. But they're tools and you need to use them like food. So if the only thing you take from this class today is that the broccoli sitting in your fridge is not benefiting your body if it's just sitting in your fridge, your oils aren't benefiting your body if they're just sitting on your shelf. Or even worse, in the box they came in. So let me know if you need help with anything. If you're struggling with something, reach out to me. I'm here for you guys, and I cannot wait to see you guys on Tuesday. So I have a couple videos I'm working on that will be coming out this next week that I'm really excited for. We've got some events coming up and a lot of planning going on. So, happy Sunday. I love you all dearly. If you have any questions, get in touch with me and I will see you all soon.